like Justin said, this is my BFA show, and I want to start out just by saying a few words about the entire show. Is a body of work that consists of rings. I displayed them all on hand or cast from my own hand in Hydrostone. Rings are essential objects. When you wear them, you're constantly touching them. They are interacting with your environment. Usually, in my case, I clank them on things and television. And they're traditionally used as a symbol to show relationship status if you're married, engaged. Some people have virginity rings, or show off your wealth to others. So that makes him a really appropriate medium to discuss my usual subject matter in art, which is women and sex and how they exist in our society. So with that said, this was the first ring I made out of this body of work, Herb Swords Are Forever. And it was inspired by the De Beers Diamonds Are Forever campaign. It just popped in my head one day as a funny thing to have a commitment ring for an STD that you can't cure. So this is my little stylized vagina here with garnet herpes sores on it. And it really shocked me a bit after I made it. The amount of internet vitriol. One day I ended up on a thread about Paris Hilton, and it sort of took on a whole new dimension for me when I realized that there are a lot of people out there who would actually like people who have a disease like that to wear sort of a scarlet letter or a ring that lets you know what you were getting into with a person who has a disease like that. This one, or these two, actually are two separate pieces. Both of them are comprised of two hands, actually, rather than the one that's shown here. These are all rings set with the placebo week from the birth control pill pack. And this is the one there on the left comes from my friend Jessica, actually, from Trinessa, and the orange ones are Ogestrel tablets. And I've been saving these since 2004, since I made a birth control ring. And it just looking at them, it's really impressive the amount of time that is encompassed in these little things. Every 7 of them is a week that comes from a month of other pills that you've taken. And when you just look at the hundreds of them there, that really is a lot of history and relationships that have passed since I've taken all these pills and the ones that I've saved. And it's sort of depressing sometimes to think about all the times that they weren't needed, but and so here's the details there of the and this little guy, Bang Bang, is a pretty obvious piece. These are copper bullet jackets. I just melted the lead out of them, and when they had these little sperms here that I made by and attached an egg to. I don't want to get pregnant. It's scary. There's the point of that. The little egg actually has a crack on the back of it where the sperm is hitting into it. It's not showing up in this picture. And these are sort of displayed on the wall, with the hand spinning off the sperm, one on top of the other. I heard somebody last night who looked at the opening and said, "It's a race. That one wins." And this one caused a lot of discussion too at the opening, scumbags. And this piece actually, I put probably a lot more thought into than some of the others, which might not be apparent just from looking at it initially. One of the things that makes me full of rage in life are people who don't think condoms are important in casual sex encounters. And I've unfortunately run across a couple of these people. And the thing that really strikes me is that there are more disgusting things in the world than use condoms, but that's pretty up there on the list of nasty things you can look at. And seeing that's really just one of the biggest representations of waste that you can see. That obviously the semen is not intended to be used in this case. And people who don't want to use condoms in a casual encounter or in a relationship where trust has not been established, this is what they think of their partner. It's just a dumpster for waste like this. So anyhow, I made these little guys out of the fingers of plastic gloves and sort of colored a bit with chalk, and that's only glue. And there's a series of 3 little cock rings. And these pieces, again, for me, they're about living in a society so dominated by the male gaze. And I like to use Mary Devereaux's distinction between objectification, aestheticization, and degradation, where she says that objectification is just really making someone the object of your gaze, looking upon them. And aestheticization, would be making someone the object of aesthetic contemplation. And degradation is actively treating someone with a lack of respect and taking away their power. And in our society, we are all really trained. When you say the male gaze, you think that just means a man looking at someone. But women, too, we all tend to look at women as objects of, or base their value on their aesthetic appeal, according to traditional standards. And so these little guys are funny, I think, when especially on a female hand, it is a reminder to me, looking back at me, to try to not look at people that way. They kind of show the entitlement with their ugly little bellies and, staring at you. That's such a silly way of looking at people and judging people. So this was Droopy, Winky, and he actually, when I cast him, came out with some air bubbles right now, left a little cluster on his neck. He's got a nice little couple of warts there and chubs. Pure speculation is about entering new relationships and what you think about people and how you never really know what you're getting into. Obviously, with regards to disease, particularly, I'm considering here. And really, there's no way you can be sure about someone's status as far as that goes without accompanying them to the doctor and seeing a printout of the test results. Or it's really based on trust, and sometimes that's a scary thing. And this piece, depending on what side of it you're on, you can be looking through it, the one who's wearing it and contemplating other people in this regard, or you can be the one that's looked upon in that way. And this is the aftermath of if you get burned in one of these relationships. This piece actually I tried to make as the first pure speculation dream, and it wasn't as successful, so I trashed it up a little bit here. It's been gnawed on by the scary vagina teeth. And here where the pieces move from a more general contemplation of sexual issues that everyone is faces, to the more personal. And when I was in a very long relationship that was ending, this little thing was something that I drew a lot. This sort of worm body with a beak and human legs, and I called them harpies at the time. And I think that they really represented for me things that were going badly in the relationship and were wrong. And the end of the relationship was painful, but really was a very freeing and good experience after this long, slow death. So just a little prick, it hurt a little bit, but it ultimately was a very positive thing. And again, here's lead weight. I included a second picture so you can see the tube on that lead sinker. This is a sort of a ball and chain piece, and talks about how sometimes relationships that you're really attached to and invested in because you put so much time into can become dead weight and drag you down. And working with found objects is sort of a new thing for me in this body of work with pills and this lovely little sinker. And here's the last piece. Again, this was an image that I drew a lot at another stage of the same relationship, like the harpy. I would draw an orange with a dead goldfish on the inside and a periscope to let you see inside. And I drew it a lot. And I think that was, and I wasn't sure why I did. And now looking back at it, it's pretty apparent that was about, something that looked nice and healthy on the outside, but it was rotten at the core. So I altered the design of it a little bit to make it to a ring here, and put some little tubing on it that extends below the surface. And that's the last of the pieces I have to show you today.
So where are you traveling to, Jen?
Oh, well, I'm going to go visit my little brother, who is a famous model, actually, in New York, first of all. Yeah, he's actually number 30 on the models.com's list of top male models in the world right now. Yeah, and I'm going to go visit my boyfriend's sister in Las Vegas. So that's going to be really fun. And I do want to attend grad school here in the future, but I'm going to take a year off first and just work an awful job and make get motivated to go back to grad school.
Are you going to make some work to sell?
Yes. Actually, I want to make some just fun work that's not emotionally draining about relationships. And I'm going to open an Etsy site here in a few weeks and start selling it.
Jennifer, do you plan on continuing with your conceptual work? Or are you
Absolutely. Yeah, I do. I think that I kind of go through phases with this where I'll kind of work in a whole body of work, and then I'm just tired of it and have to do some brainless stuff for a while, and then another one comes along. But I would like to continue with my conceptual work.
Okay, thank you, Jen.